afternoon, everybody. It's 12:45 now. Just 2 seconds of background. I first landed on the shores of the Philippines January 1, 1999. So I have been in the Philippines for quite some long time, both with Smart PLDT and then latterly with Globe. So it's with great pleasure that we're having this conference, and we'll tell you all about it. So thanks for your presence. It's great to see everybody back in person. I understand there was some request for remote access to the meeting, but we decided, just as a change of pace, let's get everybody back face to face. I think that's something we can look at in subsequent years, because face-to-face isn't digital in the Zoom way that we have gotten used to. So this is now several years into this event. We hold it every year with a different theme that's relevant to the business community. It's not a selling event. It is a sharing and an educational and a hopefully inspirational event. So that's what we're here for today. We've invited guests, resource speakers, and you'll hear from one of them shortly about this year's theme, which is based around business ecosystems. All right, I'll let Christian, our speaker, explain more what that's all about. But basically, in the post-pandemic world, I think what we all learned during the pandemic was that businesses had to work together in different ways. And what we're seeing post-pandemic is that is continuing and expanding, and we're trying to encourage that, because that is a great leap forward for the business community. So we started this leading forum back in 2016. Wow, it seems a long time ago, with relevant topics and speakers, as I mentioned. And while we have survived the pandemic, the whole world has survived the pandemic. In fact, even our speaker apparently survived the pandemic. There was a step change when I would be speaking with CEOs pre-pandemic. Nobody was in a hurry to do interesting things. During the pandemic, everything had to be done on an emergency basis, and some amazing things were done. Now the question is, we're post-pandemic, do we go back to before, or do we find a new model going forward? And really what we're hearing and speaking with business leaders in the country is that they're much looking to a new model. Not an emergency panic model like we had in the pandemic, but that same sense of urgency, innovation, cooperation, done in a more structural, long-term, sustainable way. So that's really what we're all about with this particular edition of the conference. Okay. Let's see what else is on my notes here. We'll have a great speaker. You'll have a chance to ask questions, both Christian and myself. So today's a starting point. This is not an end point, it's a journey. There's many things that are not yet done. There's many things that need to be better. But I think the good news is we're on the road. Okay? And hopefully you'll learn a lot from today's session and presentation. I know you guys are very well used to asking questions, so please don't be shy. And let's get on with the session.